Israel's taking pressure to like they have never seen before. I've been a corporate media hawk over the last year or two. I have never seen them run as many negative Israel stories as I have over the last 2 days. Now, I feel some kind of way about this. Because it's good, but think about it like this. We had 40,000 dead Palestinians. The hospital system in Gaza completely destroyed. Children being sniped by the IDF. You have men aged at least 15 that are being kidnapped because they assume that all men are agents of Hamas. So they are kidnapping Palestinian men and sending them to concentration camps in Israel right now. Are people upset about that? No, they're upset because some Europeans died and Americans died. And I don't want people to misunderstand me. It's a tragedy. It's horrible that they died. But you guys see how this kind of stuff bothers me? People never give a fuck about what Israel does until they kill anyone else. And I feel like I'm the only one who's saying this. Over the last few days, other than me and made a few handful of others. Everyone talking about, oh my God, it's a tragedy that Israel killed the aid workers. Yes, it is, but it's also a tragedy that they killed Palestinian children. Why did Israel to murder an American aid worker? Why did it take for them to murder United Central Kitchen for people to care?
That's so true, bro. I didn't even think about it like that.
That's bothering me.
I was kind of surprised that there wasn't more outrage, honestly, because I'm like, hold up, there was Americans involved in this shit. That's what, like, whenever Kirby was like, it could have been an accident. Like, we there's no proof. I'm like, bro, an American was killed. So, but they got to say it's an accident because any other time do you remember what happened whenever those American soldiers were killed? And it was like, we about to pop off everything. We about to go to war. We about to do this. We about to do that. And it's like, okay, well, this innocent civilian volunteer was killed. Yeah, but maybe it wasn't on accident. Maybe it was an accident, guys. Maybe it was a fucking accident. No, it wasn't an accident. Like, they shot 3 missiles in case the first one didn't land right. Like, but you're right. That's crazy. I never thought about it like that, but you're right. If that was a child, if that was a car full of innocent Palestinian children, that shit would have been in a news cycle for all of 30 minutes.
They would just say that if it was Palestinians, they would just say there was Hamas. The media would just say it. They were like, no, there was probably Hamas. We believe Israel. And now they're being questioned because Americans died, because white Europeans died. Once again, we can have two thoughts at the same time, my friends. That's a tragedy. It's a good thing that this led to increased awareness. That's thought number one. Two thoughts at once. Thought number two. Why the fuck is Palestinians being dehumanized to the point where 40,000 plus of them die and it doesn't lead to this reaction?
Oh, hell, even last week, was it last week, wherever the Palestinians that were trying to pick up the food that had landed were getting sniped down? Like cold-blooded, men, women, and children? It's like, well, that's probably a bigger deal, honestly. Because they're like desperate for their lives. They have no choice but to be in that situation. They're just trying to survive. And, it's sad what happened. It was a tragedy, but like those are volunteers. They chose to be there, knowing the risks. It's still sad, but like they had a choice. And these Palestinian women and children that are just trying to eat food did not have a choice. And like, it's like we either go run out there knowing the risks or we don't eat. Like there are moms and dads, principally moms, because the dads are fighting probably. There are moms out there running to pick up food because they know, like, we don't get food right now. I don't know how I'm going to be able to get food to my kids. Getting gunned the fuck down. And that didn't make the news for more than a day. If that, I don't remember it being a thing for that long, unfortunately. And I'm not even sure if the mainstream media covered it like that. So, yeah, no, you're 100% right, bro.
Last thing I want to say before I can play this video. Once again, good thing, bad thing, two thoughts at once. I've seen right-wingers that said, I wish I said the tweets. I remember this tweet clearly, so just take my word for it. Well, I saw this tweet where it's like, yo, if they're killing these aid workers like this, imagine what they're doing to the Palestinians. Now, that's a fucking
the shit
great
that we don't see.
Here. It drives me crazy, but I'm trying to stay positive because a part of me, it drives me crazy because why didn't you think about this before? But I'm like, Nick, come on, don't be an asshole. Take the win. Nick, don't be an asshole. Take the win. So I'll take the win. I'm like, all right, so I'm glad people finally get it now.
You know why? It's because you already had that thought and you thought it was obvious. Probably. Because I've had that thought before. Like, damn, bro, like I'm pretty sure I've even said it on my show. Like, yo, if they're doing this shit to these people in broad daylight, that are protected by organ. Oh yeah, I said like if they're doing, I've said it wasn't about them, it was about journalists. I'm like, yo, if they're doing this to journalists and they know it's going to get reported, they're doing this to like the top heads of Al Jazeera and they don't give a fuck. So imagine what they're doing when the cameras are off.
Yeah.
Like there's shit happen, bro. There's shit happening. I mean, we don't. They're raping their own women. Yeah. I'm gonna just put it like that.
Yeah, I covered that. How the IDF was just like the United States military. Their rape culture is so strong they can't stop each other from raping each other in the military. It's a giant problem in IDF. But let's get to this video. It's always fun doing live with Niko. We can riff all day, my brother. But let's try to get through some of these topics. I'll play a little bit of video. I'm gonna cut this. We're only gonna play maybe 90 seconds. I don't have to play that much of it. I was about to play the whole thing, but it's really not that important. I'm gonna just show you guys just how MSNBC is talking about this, and I found it. You gotta think. You gotta have two thoughts at once here, because when you see this coverage, it's still not really good because they still like say stuff that annoys me. But this other thought is they say stuff I never ever heard them say on corporate media before. You know what I mean? So let's listen to this. Feel free to interrupt anytime you have, Niko. I have a few points I want to interrupt, so feel free if you want to anytime. Let's get to it.
And we begin with the breaking news. The IDF releasing the results of its investigation into that deadly airstrike that killed 7 aid workers from World Central Kitchen in Gaza. The report calling it a grave mistake and detailing how the IDF, quote, mistakenly assumed Hamas gunmen were inside the.
If you believe that, you're among the dumbest people alive at this point. If you believe it.
Hey, if you believe that, means you don't believe the IDF, because the IDF was very clear. They knew that there was no gunman inside. And it was not men. It was one man, and he was left behind at the warehouse. So, and they knew that. The report said that, and that was a report from the IDF. Said there was one gunman. Oh, by the way, Fiorella just got back from the West Bank. She was talking about the capability of those drones that fly over before they, kill innocent people. She said those drones have such good clarity in their camera that they can see the name brand on your fucking shirt. That's what she said. Like, they knew who was in those vehicles, bro. Yeah. They knew who was in the vehicles, and they were like, yeah, whatever.
Big shout out to friend of the show, Dana Fairbanks. Israel evaluating themselves is like the police investigating the police. It's absurd at face value, and you're gonna hear something said here you're never gonna hear on corporate media. And I want you to think about this as we continue. Look at what MSNBC is covering. Once again, there's gonna be a lot of good and a lot of bad here. You never see coverage from corporate media demanding investigation into Israeli actions.
Facts.
You guys see how MSNBC is like, oh, we need to see what's happened here. Why don't they say that about the hospitals that Israel raided? Why don't they say that about all the children that was sniped? You guys see how I think about this story? So there have been Palestinians that was sniped out of hospitals. Why is there not a segment on MSNBC like, we need to look into this this allegation that they're sniping children? Do you guys have a explanation for that? They never do that. No. Whenever there's mass crimes against humanity, they just take whatever Israel says at face value. But now they kill Europeans. No, nigga, we need to invest. We need to. No, you see,
you're killing white people. Well, that's where we draw the line, buddy. That's where we draw the fucking line.
I kind of burying the lead a little bit, so let me let the video play. I kind of spoiling it.
Grave mistake and detailing how the IDF, quote, mistakenly assumed Hamas gunmen were inside the World Central Kitchen vehicles. Israel also saying 2 high-ranking members of the IDF have now been dismissed from their posts and 3 others formally reprimanded. World Central Kitchen responding to.
No, they found the people who are the scapegoats, because this is a systemic policy to target aid workers. But now those IDF members are fucked, probably. Maybe
I don't
not.
believe that. I believe it was probably, if they were high ranking, they're going to retire.
Yeah, I can
being
see that.
Dismissed from your post is not the same thing as being forcibly removed from the military by way of like a court martial.
Okay,
for example.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah, you know how that, bro. I've been telling you, I was military, bro. I was
the point I'm making in general is.
You're right. It's a scapegoat. Why don't we know their names? Fucking put their names out there, bro.
Yeah, that's a good. You're 100% right, Niko. The point I was making is that this is what military does all the time. You have people in the United States commit war crimes. Let's go after this person. No, these war crimes are systemic, motherfucker. But anyway, let's move on. Not too big. Let's continue.
To this report saying it's a start, but not enough. and demanding an independent investigation right away.
See,
Joining us now is
they would never talk about this shit on MSNBC. On any other story, they would say Israel denies that they went after the Palestinians. They claim it was a Hamas. They will move on. You guys see how they now pushing the independent investigation nonsense? We just play a little bit more of this and then we move on. I'll just play a little bit more.
Megan Fitzgerald, NBC's Ali Rafa at the White House, and Joel Rubin, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State in the Obama administration. Let's start with Megan now. Megan, just walk us through this report.
Yeah, so Anna, the IDF starts by saying their forces first identified a gunman on one of the aid trucks and then identified an additional gunman. Now, after the vehicles left the warehouse where the aid had been unloaded, one of the commanders mistakenly assumed that Hamas operatives were in the vehicles and that they didn't know, in fact, it was World Central Kitchen staff. The IDF is calling it a grave mistake stemming from a serious failure.
We already seen her.
Now, hold on real quick. Hey, Nick, when she says the report, whose report? I'm genuinely curious because that's not what the initial report said. The initial report from the IDF was like, nah, there was only one guy. They're adding so the reason that this mysterious extra gunman appeared out of nowhere in this new report and this is probably the IDF's or Israel's independent report, is because you figure out how fucking ridiculous it is. Because Haaretz was the one who reported. The Israeli news source was like, yeah, there was one gunman. He wasn't even in the car. He wasn't even with him. And if this is Israeli drones, so they knew that he wasn't in the car and they let off them shots anyway, right? And also probably the most crazy thing is like these motherfuckers called them and was like, yo, man, can y'all stop bombing us? And they were like, beep. Oh shit, our bad, we pressing again. Our bad, oh, fuck, damn. You're breaking up. Oh, you're dead, just kidding. Like that's basically what happened. And it's like y'all had contact information to verify if there was Hamas members with them. Y'all had visuals to confirm the brand of the WCK on the vehicles. But the most important thing is y'all pre-approved the route and said it was safe, which means there was an open dialogue between the two. Israel approved of that route, which we know they wouldn't be allowed to just be driving around there doing whatever the hell they wanted to without Israel pre-approving the route. And they pre-approved the goddamn route, act like they couldn't pick up the phone to send a text message and just let off 3 fucking rockets. And what's crazy is they've only actually said, at least in this particular report, that maybe there was one other gunman. There was one, but you blew up 3 cars. And also, if you also had to know that they're saying now, once this report, Israel's independent report, is saying, oh no, man, they didn't even know that wasn't the WCK, except for y'all already admitted y'all knew. And also, that was the security force responsible for blowing them up was also security force that was responsible for approving the fucking route in advance. Yeah, bro. It's crazy. That whole situation is fucking insane. And the Zionist actually runs the organization. He was super pro-Israel. So that probably is what the fuck is what's really making everything go crazy. Because he's like, y'all you disloyal fool ass bitches. That's probably what he's thinking. Because it's a Zionist that runs the organization. And now he got all this blowback. And now we know, like, when it comes to nonprofits, there's some money involved. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. There is a little, every dollar that's raised, whoever's at the top is taking a little bit off the top. How much you think he lost by 240 tons of food being turned back around to Cyprus? After doing all that, paying all that labor to organize that food. You don't think he pissed a little bit? Probably. Especially everybody who was involved.
Man, you guys really thought that you guys can get anything past this hotspot duo? Like this hotspot crew, you guys are not getting anything past us. Nah. Propaganda slang. So I'm gonna just play Delirious just a little bit more and then we can move on. Just so I'm not clickbaiting the audience, I'm gonna cover the Trump criticizing Israel story, and then I'm gonna cover how RBN was vindicated once again. I told you motherfuckers the United States wasn't defeating Yemen. People thought it was crazy. Yeah. I was very loud and vocal. In fact, I made literally like 2 hotspots where I said the United States is destined to lose. So I want to do those 2 stories. Let me know how you do on time, Niko. We just got those 2.
We're good. We got time. I got about 30 minutes.
All right, cool. Perfect. So I'm going to play a little bit more of that, and then we can do those last 2 stories for today. Anyway, let's move on. Feel free to interrupt if you have anything. I'm going to go back for context a little bit.
In fact, it was World Central Kitchen staff. The IDF is calling it a grave mistake stemming from a serious failure. They're also taking action. We're told that they dismissed 2 high-ranking commanders on the ground and reprimanded others. The IDF also says this shouldn't have happened, and they'll be making sure that it doesn't happen again. Now, just moments ago, Secretary Blinken said that the U.S. will be fully assessing the IDF's report and said they're not just looking to see what steps that are being taken, but the results of those steps. As you mentioned, World Central Kitchen
Motherfucker, we
is
saw the results of the
this morning.
steps that were
They
taken.
released a statement saying it's clear from the preliminary investigation that the IDF has deployed deadly force without regard to its own protocols.
This is something else you'll never see. We can wrap up with the segment after they finish this thought here. You will never see them cite a report that contradicts what Israel say. Like I've seen so much of these statements. It's the small stuff. It's like this. You will never see them contradict them like this. But I'll just let them finish the thought, and then we can move on.
Commands and rules of engagement. Deadly force without regard to its own protocols, chain of commands, and rules of engagement. It went on to say that they're demanding an independent investigation. But look, there's no doubt about it. International condemnation just continues to grow, with Israel's staunchest allies denouncing their actions. And of course, public opinion on the way Israel is carrying out this war, Anna, just continues to drastically shift around the world.
Well, Nick, as long as the Israel's staunchest allies are denouncing their actions, then I guess we're all good. But how much fucking effort did it take for you to denounce killing 7 volunteers that were just delivering food? I'm just curious. Also, really quick before you move on to that topic, Nick,
go ahead.
So on my show last week, I actually said, as good as it is as far as a PR victory that the United Nations Security Council passed that resolution that there needs to be a ceasefire for the month of Ramadan, I was very clear, I don't want y'all to, I need y'all to understand, practically speaking, that don't mean shit unless they pass the resolution immediately after, explaining how they're going to punish Israel if they don't follow the ceasefire. I say otherwise, that ceasefire ain't gonna last one fucking day, and the Security Council is going to look the other way and pretend like they didn't just pass this shit last week. Last week, y'all. This shit, Ramadan is happening right now. That motherfucking, that's toilet tissue they just wrote that resolution on, y'all. That's toilet tissue. Actually, no, because at least toilet tissue has a fucking purpose. So it ain't even toilet tissue. I don't know what you want to call it, but it ain't even that. Because at least toilet tissue has a purpose. That's where we're at, bro. What the fuck is the point of the United Nations? What is the point of it?
It's been exposed. It's been exposed at the
all these motherfuckers getting exposed, bro. All of them.